Alright, how's it going YouTube? What's NFL? Back again for another video. Today, doing something a little bit different here. Sort of. I've done a couple of these, but mostly to ships that have just come out. But I think I'm going to kind of pick up on this and just take it through the tech tree lines as well. We're going to start off. This is my very first one of the tech tree lines. My very first video period of this series, of this likeness, was with the Flounder. Following that, I've done the Hyuga, and that's it so far. So we're going to take this into the tech tree line. Now, a little bit about this series and what's different, I guess, than other videos is this is entirely live, one take. Whatever happens, happens. I cannot do anything to sugarcoat these games. You can see Vasteras, I don't even have any XP, so I've played no games in it. I've played games in the skein, but Vasteras is a little bit different, so this is also going to be first impressions. But yeah, so this series is just live, you know, whatever comes to mind, whatever happens, happens. So Vasteras is a tier 5 pan-European destroyer. Now you'll notice you have 3 twin-barreled guns and 2 triple torpedo tubes, so pretty normal stuff for tier 5. First of all, I'd like to mention a little bit what the pan-European line is about. Pan-European destroyers, first of all, do not get any smokescreen at all, so a little more difficult to play. What's more is the torpedoes don't do much damage at all. Very low damage. In fact, the lowest damage torpedoes in the game. However, they are long range and they are fast. They also, the pan-European destroyers, do get heals pretty much across the line, which is interesting. And above tier 6, they do get defensive AA fire as well. So that's kind of what makes them unique, is they have good AA. Now, Vasteras, as you guys may know, a lot of these lines take until higher tiers to really start to come into their own. The lower tier gameplay isn't too similar to the higher tier gameplay. For example, the US cruisers, tier 3, tier 4, those play a whole lot different than Baltimore and New Orleans, don't they? Or Cleveland and Helena. So it's kind of the same deal here. Tier 6, tier 7 is usually about where ships come into their own. Tier 5 is a lot of fun though. So, this ship right here, let's go over some quick stats. First of all, this is pre-hull upgrade, so let's go off of hull upgrade, just so you guys know this. Following the hull upgrade, you will have 13,700 hit points and a 2.4 second rudder shift. Now, this is using William Sims as an inspiration. If we were to take him off, let's go ahead and do that. Which we have to go to play for. Let's just see. So 320 by 5. What's that come out to? 1600. So we subtract 1600 from the total, and that'll give us our hit points. So right now, that's going to be that'll be 12,000. So 12,000 would be, or no, I'm sorry, 11,000 hit points would be how many hit points most of you are going to have. Now with the hull upgrade, that's going to change. Let's see what it becomes. 13,700. Does that become like 12,100? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, basically 12,100 for most of you. But you know, I'm running a build to get some extra hit points, which I highly recommend that you do as well. Torpedoes, you notice 7669 torpedo damage after you get the upgrade, and 10 kilometers. Even that's after the upgrade. So you can see these don't hurt. Targeting systems, that's going to bring your range out to 10.4 kilometers. So, you know, but you're a destroyer, so especially at this tier, you shouldn't really be shooting. Now for consumables, we get 2 engine boosts, 2 repair parties, pretty standard stuff there, except for the repair party, that's new. So, you know, that's it. That's interesting and a lot of fun, I would say. Moving on, our main guns with this build, we're running Stig Hansen Eriksson, which is the torpedo boat commander. And we are using the skill that increases our reload by 10%. So this is really in the 7s somewhere. I don't know exactly where it would be. High 7s. You can get that down, obviously, by running Jerzy Swirsky. But this is the build that I would recommend, is the torpedo boat commander for this ship. So with this build, 8.3 second reload, 1600 maximum HE damage, 7% fire chance, 2200 AP. They're 120mm guns, so they're not particularly big either. We already went over the torpedoes. The one thing that does not, two things that do not change, or three things really, with the upgrade. Reload time. They reload very quickly, 51.9 seconds. I believe that's the highest in the tech tree, but they kind of have to, since they don't do much damage. Torpedo detectability, 1.4 kilometers. That's pretty good. That's half a kilometer better than Japanese torps. And they do 69 knots, which is nice. AA defense, like I said, the line as a whole has really good AA defense, but at tier 5, not so much. So that's what it is. Maneuverability, we get 39.5 knots before the engine boost, 3.4 second ruddership without the hull upgrade, and our detectability is 6.2 kilometers without any camos. So take that as you will. Now that is with running a pretty low level bay as an inspiration as well. They're not too stealthy, as you can see. Not this one anyway. They're not bad, but this one does not seem to be too stealthy. Let's take a look at it again, just see what it is. 6 kilometers, yeah. Not stealthy. Not that stealthy at all. So, with that said, I believe armor, we got 15, you're a destroyer, you don't have a citadel. 16mm bow. I think the only significance of this is less than 100mm can't pen you, if not mistaken. But I don't know of any ships that have less than 100mm secondaries. That would be tiny. So you can see agile, torpedo, rapid reload, and low yield. That is accurate. The design of a large, fast-moving, and well-armed destroyer developed by the Swedish shipbuilders for the Polish Navy. All of her main battery artillery was placed in twin mounts. Year of design 1934. Was not a real ship. Which I can't help but feel like they could have found a real ship for tier 5, but whatever. Alright, with that said, let's go ahead and get to the gameplay. Alright, so we're on Islands of Ice. We are bottom tier, and at this tier we don't have like fantastic guns, so I don't want to get into a crazy gunfight necessarily. We're located. Now we do have 8-kilometer torpedoes. Anytime I have any significant range, I just kind of like to dump the torps in a spot that they are likely to go. In this case, that'd be over there. And you can see somebody has decided to smoke up for some unknown reason. Now we do have to be careful. This is a carrier game. Now normally with this line, with the skein in particular, I like to leave the AA on. And I may end up switching the build a little bit, because I think I went with the plotting room or the dispersion buff. But for now, this is what we're doing, because the AA doesn't really stand out as being great to me. Let's go ahead and dump them again.
All stations, reporting the position of a strategic target. Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
So with the Tier 5 not having defensive AA fire, the guns don't have that quick reload either. That's not good.
Reporting the position of a strategic target.
I personally think that this ship could probably use a buff. Oh boy. Oh dear. We need to break engagement here.
Wieża głównej baterii krytycznie uszkodzona. Do wszystkich jednostek skupić ogień
We
na
are
celu.
getting focused hard here. Alright, we need to get into a smoke screen or something.
Fire on the designated target.
It's a high skill wall line, and I don't really think that they come into their own until Tier 6. I think that this line at this tier really struggles. But I could kind of tell that just looking at the stats, right? Now another thing about the line as a whole is you do have very narrow spread torps, so you can see that that's the wide spread. The narrow spread's very tight, so that is one thing about these torpedoes is they are very hard to avoid. And to get damage in these ships, you really just have to kind of be looking for strategic permafloods, essentially. By going for those permafires and dumping torps of people you know are on damage con. I'm really trying to get rid of those destroyers. Yeah, Doug, I decided to put out a review before I get to work, so I'm not going to be streaming. This is just a review that's going up on my channel. I'm going to go ahead and use this smoke screen. Jesus, we're all in the same smoke screen. How does it feel, Dallas?
Torpedy oddziobu.
Kill there.
Torpedy oddziobu.
A lot of torpedoes coming.
Wyznaczyć kurs torpedy oddziobu. Do wszystkich jednostek skupić ogień na celu.
All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
Something behind us.
Skupić ogień na okręcie nieprzyjaciela.
Now, in particular, the Tier 6, if you have a div mate in a destroyer that has a smoke screen, then that thing has a very high or very low reload. You can really spam some people effectively.
Torpedy od sterburty.
I don't know why he did that. Those were deep water torps.
Torpedy od sterburty.
Maybe I should go try and hunt down the carrier. That might be the best thing I can do here. Oh boy. Forgot about the Monaghan or whatever his name is. Oh, we get him with a torp. What on earth? Did you guys see that? I hit him with a torpedo. It did 3,000 damage. That's insane, dude. That was a destroyer. You cannot tell me he has torpedo protection. That is so trash. Wow. Not a fan of that at all. That was terrible. They got our carrier. That ain't good. I'm gonna go see if I can get theirs. That's ridiculous. So, I do think that these things, I get what they're going for, but the line as a whole, I think could probably use a buff, especially this ship. This is not good.
All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
The reload isn't, you know, they didn't even give it a good reload either. That's the problem. Reload's pretty bad, actually. It's definitely a torpedo boat, but you don't have enough, you don't have many torps. You don't have torps that hurt at all. I mean, we did 3,000 damage hitting a destroyer. 3,000. What did we spot here? No, Doug, it absolutely is for flooding, but at this tier, you're not getting the tools you need. See, to make the flooding thing work, you need probably both the guns and the fast torpedoes, which I think the skein is on the weaker side, but it's usable. This, to me, is just, I don't have a reason to play this. It doesn't have good guns. So, that's one thing. I mean, the torps reload fast, but so what, you know? Not really helping if you're not doing damage.
Doładowanie silnika wyłączone.
It's also not stealthy either. You notice my concealment? Well, that's the thing about this ship in particular is the tier 5 does not get the fast reloading guns. This is actually slow reloading guns. The tier 5 version of this ship of the line doesn't really get any of the redeeming qualities of the other ones.
Reporting a target's position.
You're kidding. You're kidding.
Bitwa kończy się za 5 minut.
Concentrate fire on that target.
So we're gonna try and get a permaflood on this guy real quick. They got the carrier.
Nasza drużyna objęła prowadzenie.
I'm not going to shoot this guy.
All stations, reporting the position of a
Yeah, it looks like he's slowed down.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship. All stations, requesting fire on the designated target.
Gonna send some torps at his nose.
Concentrate fire on
You see, our detection is 6 kilometers here, too.
all stations. Concentrate fire on the target.
We're gonna get him with one. There's a permaflood. Now the one nice thing about it is you have very fast reloading torps, but
Reporting the target position.
I just don't know that that's enough to really make it worthwhile.
All stations, reporting the position of a strategic target. Attention, reporting the target position.
Uh-oh.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
Yeah, I mean, flooding does work, but, you know, that's the thing is, I'm thinking here, and you get long-range torps, but why? It's like, why would I do this over Fubuki, is my question. Fubuki has more torps. It reloads still pretty quick. They hurt a lot. Neither of them have a great amount of hit points, and this doesn't have the good guns at tier 5 that redeem it. See, Skane, it gets the long-range torps, it gets good guns too, and it gets the heal and defensive AA fire. This thing isn't getting the AA, it isn't getting the fast reloading guns. You know? And the torps, I did 2,900 damage to a destroyer, which is nuts, but I digress. So 42,000 damage, 3 torpedo hits. The only reason we have 42,000 is because of the permaflood, which is the way you want to be playing the line. That's absolutely correct, but I don't feel that this... I don't think it's a very good ship. You know, I get what they're going for with the whole you need to be more strategic with your permafloods and whatnot, but this one doesn't have the other tools that make the line appealing. So that's how I feel about here. I don't think Vasteras is a very good ship. I don't. I think Skane is really where it starts to become good. But I don't think... I think Vasteras definitely needs a buff. I would imagine the Visby is probably in the same boat. Just because we take a look, you know, AA defense is still not great there. 8.3 second reload. So, you know, I think that this one and probably the ones below it need a buff. Skane could probably use a slight dispersion buff, but that's about it. Dispersion feels really bad for a destroyer. But with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the review. Be on the lookout for my Skane review. With all that said, I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one.